The night market on planet Voria was loud, bright, and full of strange smells. But in the middle of all the noise, one human walked quietly, observing everything with sharp eyes. His name was Evan Hale, a traveler known for fixing machines and helping lost aliens. He never looked for trouble, but trouble always found him. As he moved past a row of cages, he heard a soft sound, a whisper. A voice so weak that it almost faded into the air. "Please, sell me to a human." Evan stopped. He turned his head slowly and saw her. A young alien girl, maybe 18 or 19, sitting in a corner of a dirty cage. Her skin was silver with faint blue marks. Her eyes glowed softly like cold stars. She was shaking, hugging her knees, trying to make herself small. Evan stepped closer. "Are you talking to me?" She looked up quickly, fear in her eyes. "Yes, please. Take me away. Sell me. Buy me. I don't care. Just take me to a human." Her voice broke at the end, like she was about to cry but didn't have the strength. Evan frowned. He wasn't a buyer or a trader. He didn't deal in slaves, but before he could speak, the girl grabbed the metal bars and whispered urgently, "My sister. She will find me. She will hurt me again. Please save me before she comes." Her words made Evan pause. He looked around the market. No one else seemed to notice her. But he could see fresh bruises on her arms, thin cuts on her legs, and a deep mark around her neck like someone had held her too tight. Evan felt something twist inside his chest. Pity mixed with anger. "Who did this to you?" he asked. The girl's eyes widened in fear. She always punishes me when she is angry, and she is always angry." "Who is she?" Evan asked softly. The girl swallowed with difficulty. "My sister." Before Evan could ask more, the air suddenly changed. A cold breeze moved across the market. Lights flickered. The girl's face turned pale. "She's here." Evan looked up. At the far end of the market, a tall figure walked slowly through the crowd. The alien was female, but everything about her was sharp and dangerous. Her eyes glowed red. Her skin was darker, marked with symbols of power. People stepped aside as she moved, afraid to get in her way. The girl in the cage pulled back, pressing herself to the corner. "She came for me. She never stops." Evan understood instantly. If he walked away now, this girl would die. He turned to the seller. "How much?" The seller blinked, surprised. "You want her? She is trouble." "I asked how much," Evan repeated, his voice flat. The seller shrugged and named a price. Evan paid without argument. The cage unlocked with a loud click. The girl slowly stepped out, her legs trembling. She kept looking over her shoulder toward the red-eyed woman who was getting closer with every step. Evan placed a gentle hand on the girl's arm. "You're safe now." But the girl shook her head strongly. "No, no one is safe when she wants something." Evan led her quickly through the market. People stared, some whispered, some pointed. But Evan didn't stop. He pushed through the crowd until they reached the quiet road outside the market. Only then did the girl breathe for the first time. Evan crouched in front of her. "I need your name," he said calmly. "I can't help you if I don't know who you are." The girl hesitated, looking scared even of her own name. "My name," she whispered, "will put you in danger." "Tell me anyway." She lowered her head. "My name is Lyra," Evan nodded. "Okay, Lyra, you're safe with me." She looked into his eyes, confused. "You don't understand. She will come. She will take me back. She will punish me again. She never loses." Evan stood up and offered his hand. "I'm human," he said with confidence. "And humans don't give up easily." Lyra slowly reached out and held his hand, but as he helped her stand, she whispered something that made the night feel colder. "You don't know what my sister really is." Evan walked fast through the dark road, holding Lyra's hand gently. but firmly. She kept looking behind her, her steps unsteady, like she expected someone to jump out of the shadows at any moment. Every sound made her flinch. A dry leaf cracking, a distant shout, even the soft wind moving through the trees got to her. Everything felt like danger. When they reached Evan's small transport shuttle, Lyra hesitated. Her silver blue eyes scanned the trees, searching for the tall, red-eyed woman. She followed us, Lyra whispered. I can feel her anger. Evan opened the shuttle door. No one is here. Come inside. Lyra shook her head. She hides. She waits. She strikes when I am weak. You're safe with me, Evan repeated calmly. Get in. After a long moment, Lyra finally stepped inside the shuttle. She sat on the floor instead of the seat, curling her legs close to her body like a frightened child. Evan didn't force her to move. He started the engine, and the shuttle lifted into the night sky. But even as they rose above the glowing alien city, Lyra kept staring through the window, her breath shaking. Evan watched her quietly. You're far from the market now. No one can reach you here. Lyra whispered, you don't understand. The bond between sisters and my species is not normal. My sister, she can find me anywhere. Evan frowned. How? Lyra hesitated. Her fingers trembled. She marked me when we were young. A shadow bond. She used it to control me. To punish. To make me obey. Evan felt a sharp anger rise in his chest. She hurt you like this since childhood? Lyra nodded silently, her eyes glassy. She hurt me every day. She enjoyed my fear. She took everything from me: freedom, voice, feelings. I was only a tool for her, a shadow to step on. Evan clenched his jaw. No one deserves that. Lyra looked at him with confusion. My people say sisters must obey the stronger one. But humans, you protect the weak? Even strangers? Yes, Evan said. Especially strangers. Lyra pressed her hand against her heart, trying to steady herself. That is why I begged to be sold to a human, I thought. Maybe humans don't punish for fun. Maybe humans don't take joy in pain. Evan sighed softly. You thought right. The shuttle landed near Evan's safe house, a small but well-protected metal shelter surrounded by tall trees and hidden force fields. He guided Lyra inside. The warm lights flicked on, revealing a simple but clean place. Lyra stepped in slowly, her eyes wide. This place feels calm. It's meant to, Evan said. He brought her a warm blanket. Sit, rest, no one will hurt you here. She held the blanket tightly, but didn't sit on the couch. Instead, she sat on the floor again, like she was afraid to make a mistake. Evan sat across from her, not too close, not too far. Lyra, he said calmly, tell me what your stir really is. Why is she so dangerous? Lyra's body stiffened. She is not like me, Lyra whispered. Her power is strong. She can control minds, break bones with a touch. She knows how to track through fear. The more scared I become, the faster she finds me. And she hurt you because, why? Lyra's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. Because I am weak, because she hates weakness. Because she wants all power. Because she wants to use me to become stronger. Evan leaned forward slightly. How does she use you? Lyra looked down. She drains emotion from me. My fear feeds her. My pain makes her stronger. Evan felt cold anger rising again. That's not a sister. That's a monster. Lyra blinked, confused by the human word. A monster, yes, she whispered. That is what she is. Evan stood up and activated the security systems. A bright shield shimmered around the house. No. One can enter now, he said, but Lyra didn't look relieved. Instead, she hugged herself tighter and whispered, she always finds a way. She always comes for me. And when she arrives, she won't only take me, Evan turned sharply. What do you mean? Lyra looked up slowly, her eyes filled with a terrifying truth. She kills anyone who helps me. A cold silence filled the room. Outside, the trees shifted in the wind, or maybe something else moved between them. Lyra whispered the final words like a warning. Human. She is already hunting you. The night surrounding Evan's safe house grew strangely silent. The wind paused. The insects stopped singing. Even the trees seemed to hold their breath. Lyra felt it first. She froze where she sat on the floor, her silver skin turning pale like moonlight. She's close, she whispered. Evan turned from the control panel. You're safe. The shields are. Lyra shook her head violently. She does not break shields, she breaks people. A cold shiver ran through Evan's spine, but he didn't show it. Instead, he checked the perimeter scanners again. Everything looked clear, except for the strange static covering the forest area. Static that wasn't there minutes ago. She is clouding the sensors, Lyra said softly, as if reading his thoughts. She does it when she wants to confuse her prey. Evan tightened his jaw. I don't confuse easily. Lyra hugged her blanket tighter. She is not hunting you. She is hunting me. You simply stand in the way. Just then thumped out a heavy sound hit the force field outside. Evan grabbed his blaster. Lyra slid backward with a terrified gasp. Another thump closer this time. Evan walked to the window slowly. The trees were shaking, not from wind, but from something moving through them. Something tall. Something powerful. Red light flickered between the branches. Lyra pressed her hands to her mouth. She found us. Evan lifted his blaster. Stay back, Lyra. The lights flickered again, then a tall shadow stepped into view. The sister, her eyes glowed like burning coals. Her dark skin carried ancient symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. Her steps were calm, almost casual, but the force field rippled with every approach. She stopped directly in front of the shield and tilted her head slightly, studying the house like a predator examining a cage. When she spoke, her voice was smooth, almost gentle. Human, return my sister. Lyra instantly crawled backward, hiding behind the couch. No. Please no. She whispered. Evan stepped forward, his body blocking the sister's view of Lyra. She's not going anywhere with you, he said firmly. The sister smiled slowly, cruelly. You think you saved her? You think buying her freed her from me? She placed 2 fingers on the force field. The surface sparked violently, like lightning trapped under skin. She is mine, the sister whispered. By bond, by blood, by birth. Evan tightened his grip on his blaster. You hurt her. That's not protection. It's torture. The sister's smile widened. Torture? She tapped the shield lightly. It is training. Weakness must be removed. She leaned forward, her red eyes glowing brighter. And you, human, are weakness. Inside the house, Lyra covered her ears, shaking. Evan spoke again. You won't take her. The sister let out a soft laugh as if he had told a childish joke. You humans love saving broken things, she whispered. You think kindness changes fate. Her eyes shifted to Lyra behind him. Come out, little shadow, she said softly. You know you cannot hide from me. You know your fear will lead me. Lyra let out a choked sound. Don't listen to her, Evan said over his shoulder, but Lyra's breathing quickened. Her skin dimmed. She shook as if invisible chains pulled her. It hurts, she whispered. Her voice, it pulls my mind. The sister smiled proudly. You see, human, she is tied to me. Her fear is my weapon. Evan quickly switched on the internal sonic blockers. The house hummed with protective vibrations. Instantly, Lyra gasped and her mind cleared. The sister's smile faded. You interfere too much, she hissed. Evan stepped closer to the glass. What do you want from her? The sister's voice sharpened, revealing cold hunger beneath it. She is the key to my final power. Her fear feeds me. Her pain strengthens me. When she breaks completely, I will rise above all of my kind. Evan's heart pounded with anger. You're disgusting. The sister tilted her head. Disgusting? No. Efficient. Her hand pressed firmly against the shield. The entire house shook. Lyra screamed, covering her ears again. The sister whispered, shield or no shield. I will take her. Cracks of red energy crawled across the force field, flickering dangerously. Evan fired a warning shot from the inside. The laser hit the shield and dispersed, but it forced the sister to step back. Her eyes narrowed. This is only the beginning, human. She turned away and walked back into the forest, her form slowly fading into the dark like a phantom. Evan stayed still, blaster ready, watching until the last hint of red light vanished. When the forest finally fell, silent again, Lyra crawled out from behind the couch, her whole body trembling. She won't stop, Lyra whispered. And now, you're on her list too. Evan placed a steady hand on her shoulder. Then we fight, he said. Together. Lyra looked up at him in shock. No one had ever stood between her and her sister. Before, no one had ever chosen to face the monster. But this human did, and for the first time in her life, Lyra felt a spark of courage, a spark her sister would soon fear. The night grew colder as Lyra and Evan sat inside the safe house. The glowing shield outside flickered now and then, like it was breathing a live alert, ready to take another hit. Lyra kept staring at the door, expecting it to explode at any moment. But her sister was gone. For now, Evan placed a cup of warm liquid in Lyra's hands. Drink, he said gently. Your hands are shaking. Lyra tried, but her fingers trembled so much that she spilled drops on the floor. She hugged the cup close and whispered, she should not be able to track me so fast. Unless what? Evan asked. Lyra looked up slowly. Her eyes were full of fear and guilt. Unless she already planned this. Unless she wanted me to run. Evan frowned. That makes no sense. Why would she want you to escape? Lyra closed her eyes. Her breath shook. Because she wanted you, the human, to get involved. Evan stayed silent, giving her time. Lyra continued in a weak voice. She wanted someone strong to protect me. Someone I would trust. Someone she could break later. In front of me. Evan felt cold anger grip his chest. So she wants to hurt you emotionally too. Lyra nodded. She enjoys fear. But she enjoys suffering even more. She wants to destroy everything I touch. Anyone I trust. Anyone who shows kindness. Evan clenched his jaw. She's not just cruel. She's strategic. Lyra nodded again, her eyes filling with tears she tried to hide. You need to understand something, she whispered. My sister is not just a fighter. She was born with the rarest ability among our kind, mind binding. She can reach into thoughts. She can twist them, break them, shatter them. Evan leaned forward. Did she use this on you? Lyra gave a tiny nod. When we were children, she began the shadow bond early. She forced our minds together. She stole my emotions. She replaced my memories. She lied to my soul until I believed her voice more than my own. Her voice cracked softly. She said I was weak. That I existed only to serve her. That my pain was her right. Evan's hands curled into fists. Lyra continued, speaking like someone remembering a nightmare. She used my fear as food. The more afraid I became, the stronger she grew. Every tear I cried, every scream I made, she absorbed it. Evan exhaled sharply. That's why her power grows when you panic. Yes, Lyra whispered. My fear is her strength. That is why she hunted me all these years. That is why she broke me again and again. She looked up with helpless eyes. I was never a sister to her. I was a tool. Evan gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Not anymore. Lyra shook her head. quickly. You don't understand, Evan. Humans don't understand these rituals. The shadow bond is old, older than any record. Once created, it cannot be undone. But it can be resisted, Evan said firmly. Not when she is this strong, Lyra whispered. She has taken so much from me that I barely have a mind of my own. Her voice choked. That is why I wanted a human to buy me. Humans have no shadow bonds. Humans have no psychic chains. I thought maybe your presence would weaken. Her control. Evan's eyes softened. Does it? Lyra nodded slowly. When you look at me, I feel something she cannot reach. Something she cannot break. What's that? Evan asked. Lyra hesitated, then whispered, hope. Outside. A sudden gust of wind slammed against the shield. Lyra jumped, almost dropping the cup. Evan stood up instantly, checking the sensors. False alarm. Just wind, but Lyra's fear didn't fade. There is more. She whispered. Evan turned to her. Tell me. She does not only want me for power. She wants to complete the ritual. A final binding, if she succeeds. I will never think my own thoughts again. I will become nothing. Only a shadow under her command, forever. Evan's heart tightened. How does she complete it? Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. She must take me during a moment of extreme fear. When my mind is weakest. When I want help but cannot. Reach it. Evan looked at her with determination. That moment will never come. Lyra's eyes filled with tears again, not of fear this time, but confusion. Why do you protect me? She asked in a trembling voice. I am nothing to you. I bring danger. I bring death. Evan knelt in front of her, meeting her eyes. I protect you because humans don't walk away from someone who needs help. Because what she did to you is wrong. Because you deserve freedom, not fear. Lyra stared at him as if no one had ever said such words to her. Evan added, and because I am not afraid of your sister, Lyra whispered. You will be. When? She returns. Evan stood and loaded his weapon, then let her return. Lyra watched him, a strange feeling growing inside her chest. Something her sister had tried to destroy long ago. Something humans were very good at awakening. Courage. Hope. End. A spark of trust. The night was deep, dark, and unnaturally quiet around Evan's safe house. The shield hummed softly, glowing like a thin blue bubble in the middle of a sleeping forest. But inside, Lyra could not sleep. Her eyes stayed open, wide and full of fear. Evan sat by the window with his weapon ready. He had watched battlefields, storms, and alien raids. But the silence around the house tonight felt different, like something was waiting for them. Lyra hugged her knees and whispered, She is not gone. She is watching. Evan kept scanning the forest. Let her watch. She won't get through. Lyra shook her head. She never attacks right away. She waits. She builds fear. She wants me weak before she strikes. Evan turned to her. You're stronger than she thinks. I'm only strong when I'm far from her, Lyra whispered. But she is close now. Suddenly, the shield flickered. A faint red crack appeared for a second, then vanished. Lyra gasped. She touched it. Evan stood instantly, checking the scanners. Everything showed static again, except for one thing. Heat signatures. Multiple, moving fast. Not just her. Evan muttered, She has help. Lyra crawled toward him, panic rising. She can influence weak minds. She can turn other creatures into her servants. They will do anything she commands. Evan gritted his teeth. Then we prepare. He activated internal defenses. Metal plates sealed over windows. The floors vibrated as power flowed to hidden turrets. The safe house was built for emergencies, but this felt like something beyond normal danger. Lyra watched him silently. You don't have to risk your life for me. Evan didn't look back. Too late for that. Before Lyra could reply, The forest outside erupted with movement. Thump. 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 Large bodies slammed against the shield. Shapes moved in the darkness, twisted animals, long limbs, glowing red eyes. Creatures controlled by her sister. Lyra covered her ears. She is pulling them with her mind. She wants to break the shield's weak points. The ground trembled. One of the creatures, a large beast with 6 legs, threw its full body weight against the shield. The shield flashed red. Evan cursed under his breath. She's trying to overload it. If she keeps this up, the shield will collapse. Lyra shook her head. No. She won't break the shield. She is testing your defenses. Learning. Studying. She always uses the first attack to understand the enemy. Evan tightened his hold on his blaster. How long until she comes herself? Lyra's voice trembled. When the shield is weak enough to walk through. The house shook again. This time louder. Thud. Inside lights flickered. Alarms beeped. Evan activated the outer turrets. Blue lasers fired into the forest, hitting the twisted creatures and sending them falling. More appeared, crawling from dark corners. She's driving them mad, Lyra whispered. She is pushing their fear into their minds. She is forcing them to run at us. Evan fired at a large creature directly outside the shield. The beast screamed and vanished into the trees. Lyra suddenly grabbed his arm. She is moving closer. I feel her emotions. She is excited, angry, hungry for control. Evan narrowed his eyes. Let her come. But Lyra shook her head violently. You don't understand. When she arrives, she will not fight you first. She will come for me. She will break into my mind. If she succeeds, I will walk to her even if my body burns. Evan crouched beside her. Then we don't let her succeed. Before Lyra could answer, the entire shield exploded in red light. Boom! The force field rippled like water hit by a meteor. The power generator screamed. Sparks burst from the control panel. Lyra screamed and covered her head. Evan ran to the screen. The shield was down by 60%. She's hitting it herself now, Evan muttered. The creatures were just distraction. Lyra trembled. She is close. I can feel her thoughts. She is angry you stopped her voice before. She wants to break you first. She wants me to watch. Evan looked straight into her eyes. She won't touch you. Lyra shook her head helplessly. You can't stop mind-binding. You can stop her body, but not her mind. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. That's why we run, he said. Lyra blinked in shock. Run? Where? Evan opened the hidden hatch on the floor, a tunnel leading away from the house. To the old valley, he said. There's ancient human tech there, something that can block psychic links. Lyra's breath caught. It can stop her. If we reach it, Evan said. Another explosion rocked the shield. Red cracks spread like veins. Evan grabbed his bag and helped Lyra stand. We leave now, he said. Before she breaks through. Lyra hesitated, looking at the trembling walls. She's coming, she whispered. Evan pulled her close. Then we move fast. And together, they dropped into the tunnel, just as the final wall of red cracks spread across the shield. And her sister stepped out of the burning forest with a smile. The tunnel beneath the safe house was narrow and cold, lit only by dim blue lights along the floor. Lyra's breathing echoed softly as she moved, each step shaking with fear. Evan walked ahead, his blaster ready, scanning the path with sharp, experienced eyes. Above them, the world shook. A deep, thunder-like sound rolled across the ceiling. Boom! Then another. Boom! Lyra closed her eyes. She broke the shield. She's inside. Evan placed a hand on her shoulder. She won't reach this tunnel. I sealed the entrance. Lyra shook her head slowly. She doesn't use doors. Evan, she uses minds. Evan tightened his jaw, then picked up speed. We reach the valley. That's the only plan. Lyra followed, but her steps grew weaker. Her fingers trembled. Her breathing turned shallow. "Lyra?" Evan asked, slowing down. "What's happening?" She pressed her hands to her temples. "She's searching, reaching. I can feel her thoughts. She's angry, so angry. She wants my fear." Her voice cracked. "She sees the tunnel. She sees the path. She is coming." Evan cursed softly and lifted her into his arms without hesitation. "You don't walk anymore," he said. "We move fast." Lyra's heart raced. "Evan, she sees you now too." "I know," he said. "Let her watch." He ran through the tunnel, boots hitting the floor in quick rhythm. Lyra held onto him, gripping his shirt with shaking fingers. Tunnel eventually opened into a rocky path leading into the valley. The night sky above was clear, and the valley glowed faintly with blue mist rising from ancient stones scattered across the ground. "This place," Lyra whispered. "It feels quiet. Too quiet." "It's human-made," Evan said. "From before our time, old technology. It blocks psychic waves. If we get to the center, you'll be safe." But the moment they stepped into the valley, a chilling voice echoed inside Lyra's mind. "Little shadow." Lyra gasped, nearly falling. Evan caught her instantly. "What did she say?" He asked. "She's close," Lyra whispered. "She speaks inside my head." Evan guided her deeper into the valley, toward the glowing monolith at the center, a tall stone tower humming with hidden power. "Just a little more," Evan said. "Stay with me." But the trees behind them shifted. Branches cracked. Something tall moved through the darkness. Lyra's body stiffened. "She's here." Evan raised his blaster. "Then we end this." They reached the monolith. Its surface glowed brighter as Lyra approached, reacting to her presence. She stepped into the circle of stones, and a soft shield of blue light rose around her. "I feel lighter," she whispered. Her voice is fading, but only for a moment. A scream. Lyra fell to her knees, gripping her head. "She's forcing the bond," Lyra cried. "She's trying to drag me to her." Evan rushed to her side. "Fight it, Lyra. Don't let her in." Lyra's eyes flickered blue and red. "I'm trying, but she's strong. Too strong." The valley shook as a tall shadow stepped out from the trees. Her sister, red eyes burning, symbols glowing. A smile cold enough to freeze blood. "You ran far," the sister said softly. "But you cannot run from what you are." Evan stepped in front of Lyra. "You're not taking her." The sister tilted her head. "You're brave for a human." She raised her hand. Red energy shot forward like a wave. Evan fired his blaster. The blasts collided, and the shockwave knocked both of them back. Lyra screamed as the psychic pressure slammed into her mind again. "I won't go back," she cried. The sister smiled slowly. "You say that now, but your fear will decide." Evan pushed himself up. His suit was damaged. His blaster sparked. "Lyra!" he shouted. "Look at me." Lyra forced her eyes open. "You can break her." "Hold," Evan said. "The monolith is trying to help you. Use it." Lyra's breath trembled. "I'm too weak." "No," Evan said firmly. "You're stronger than she ever believed." For the first time, Lyra looked at her sister not with fear, but with anger. The red glow around her sister flickered. The sister's eyes narrowed. "What is this? You dare resist me?" Lyra stood slowly, gripping the monolith with one hand. "Am not your shadow," she whispered. The monolith glowed brighter, reacting to her courage. Her sister hissed and launched forward. Evan threw himself in front of her. Lyra screamed, and the valley lit up with blue light. The final confrontation had begun. The valley glowed bright blue as ancient human technology awakened after centuries of silence. The monolith pulsed like a living heart, spreading protective waves through the air. Lyra stood inside its light, trembling, but not with fear this time. With anger, with strength, with something she had not felt in many years. Courage. Her sister, tall and fierce, glared at her with burning red eyes. The symbols on her dark skin flashed violently, reacting to Lyra's resistance. "You dare challenge me?" the sister hissed. "You, who cried every night, you who obeyed every command? You think you can break me?" Evan stepped forward, bruised but determined, placing himself between them. "She doesn't need to be afraid of you anymore," he said. The sister's eyes narrowed. "Move aside, human. She belongs to me." "No," Evan said simply. The sister raised a hand, red, energy swirling like a storm ready to strike. But before she released it, Lyra whispered, "Stop." The single word carried weight, more than she herself expected. Her sister turned sharply. "What did you say?" Lyra took a shaky step forward inside the monolith's blue circle. "I said, stop. I am tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of pain." The sister's expression twisted with shock and rage. "You forget your place." Lyra's voice grew firmer. "No, I am remembering it now." Evan looked at her with quiet pride. "That's it, Lyra. Keep going." The monolith glowed brighter, reacting to her rising will. Blue sparks danced around, pressing a hand against the invisible. Red cracks crawled across the surface, fighting against the ancient blue energy. The sister spoke in a cold voice. "You cannot break the shadow bond. It is older than both of us. It is written in our blood." Lyra lifted. "It was written by you, forced by you, fed by you." The sister snarled. "I made you. I shaped you. Without me, you have nothing." Lyra took another step toward the barrier. "That is not true." She looked back at Evan for the first time. "In my life, someone saw me as something more than a shadow." Evan's chest tightened, but he said nothing. The sister saw this and growled in fury. "Humans' weakness. Their kindness destroys discipline. Their emotions soften the spirit. He broke your fear, little shadow. But fear is power." She slammed her hand against the barrier. The valley shook. "Come to me," the sister commanded. "Obey me." Lyra winced as a wave of psychic force hit her mind. Her knees buckled. She screamed softly. Evan shouted, "Lyra, fight her." I can't," Lyra gasped. "Yes, you can," Evan yelled. "You're not alone." Her sister's voice pushed into Lyra's mind, cold and sharp. "You are weak. You always were." But another voice pushed back, Evan's voice. "You're stronger than her. Stronger than you think." Lyra's breath steadied. Her back straightened. She stood tall. And for the first time in her life, she pushed back. Blue energy erupted from the monolith, swirling around her like a protective storm. Her sister staggered back, shocked. "What are you doing?" Lyra's voice echoed with strength not her own, or maybe it was her own, finally awakened. "I am breaking the bond." She raised both hands, blue light glowing between her fingers. The psychic chain connecting her to her sister, an invisible thread of red energy became visible. Trembling violently, the sister's eyes widened. "No, you cannot. I forbid it." Lyra squeezed her hands together. Snap. The red thread shattered like glass. Her sister screamed as the broken bond sent shockwaves through her body, knocking her backward into the dirt. The red symbols on her body flickered, losing power. Lyra collapsed to her knees, exhausted but free. Evan rushed to her side. "Lyra, you did it." She looked up at him, breathing hard, eyes full of tears, not of fear, but of relief. "I'm free." Her sister crawled toward them weakly, eyes full of disbelief. "You broke me." Lyra stared at her calmly. "No, I broke what you did to me." The sister hissed, but she no longer had the strength to stand. The valley fell. Silent. Evan gently lifted Lyra into his arms. "You're safe now." Lyra leaned her head against his shoulder. "For the first time, yes." As they walked out of the valley, dawn began to rise, painting the sky with soft colors. Lyra watched the light, amazed by its warmth. Humans. They live with so much hope, she whispered. Evan smiled. You can too. Lyra held his hand tightly. Will you help me learn? Evan nodded. Always. Behind them, the dark forest faded. Before them, a new path waited. A life without chains, without fear. A life she could choose. Lyra looked at Evan and whispered, I am not a shadow anymore. She had broken the bond. She had broken her past. And now, with a human beside her, she would build a future.